Black Myth Wukong saga and the Xbox continues, right? So the Xbox Series S is in trouble again. Allegedly, the reason why Black Myth Wukong will not be coming to the Series X anytime soon is because they're struggling to optimize the game on the Series S. But then we have to question, how much truth and validity does this really contain? We need to sort of look at it, right? So there's a few things to discuss. On one side, we have people saying that that's a lie. That it's just a lie, that they have a secret exclusivity deal with Sony. And I have to say, I call BS on that. I'm sorry, look, anyone who knows Sony knows Sony like to brag about things being exclusive. If Black Myth Wukong had an exclusive deal, it wouldn't be hush-hush behind closed doors. They would be marketing that, selling it as a system seller. This is ours, right? So, then you have to look at the Series S. Now here's the thing. Back when I was on the PlayStation side of things, I used to look at the Series S as a big mistake. Because I used to think, well, it's going to create a problem, right? Because Microsoft have this promise to Xbox consumers that no game that comes out will ever be available on the X and not available on the S. Which means any developer now has to deal with the hardware in the S no matter what. They have to get the game running on that thing. So we have to ask, well, how capable is that thing? Now, back when the console generation started, I thought it was going to be a potato, bruv. I thought that it was going to hold back the Xbox so much that games are just going to struggle. But I have been proven wrong. There's many great games that are running well on the Series S, bruv. Indiana Jones, Baldur's Gate 3, just to name a few. Games run well on that thing. Call of Duty, Halo, like the thing runs well. It's a good little system, and my son has it. He's had it for a long time. He has no issues with it whatsoever. And sorry, as impressive as Black Myth Wukong is, you can't tell me that's harder to run than a Baldur's Gate 3, bro. You can't convince me of that. Do you know what I mean? The graphics on Indiana Jones still look spectacular on the S, right? So we know the system's capable of running it, but there could be some truth to what they're saying. They're saying it's a skill issue, right? They're quite a small company. Now, if it is a skill issue, then the Series S is still a problem for Xbox, because if the studio itself just don't have the skills to optimize it in the way it needs to be in order to run efficiently, then the Series S is causing problems. But then you're left again asking questions. But surely Microsoft would help in that regard. Do you know what I mean? Surely there would be some help offered to the developers to make it run better on the Series S. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, some people have said, some people who are really upset about this have said, well, they need to drop the S. They can't drop the S, bruv. They can never, ever in a million years allow a game to come out on the X and not come out on the S simply because the development is too hard. Because once they do it one time, and it only takes one time, every single developer from that point on will just go, no, we don't need to bother with the S. Just say it's too hard. It's extra work. We don't need that workload. We'll just leave the S. And then everyone who bought the S, because it's more budget friendly, will then suffer and be abandoned because developers will they won't do it. They can't set that precedent. So what's going to happen going forward for Wukong? I mean, it's eventually going to come. You guys will have it. It's just going to take time. I do not believe for a million years there's a secret deal with Sony. Sony would be screaming that from the rooftops, bro. I assure you. You know, it's a risky deal. You know, the S and the X it does cause a problem because there's a big power divide. I mean, PlayStation don't have this issue. Every single developer knows exactly what specs people have in the system. Obviously now the Pro is out. That's a bit of a different story. But still, the difference between the S and the X is still a gulf of difference than the difference between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, which might as well not exist, right? So, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's lying. I genuinely believe it probably is a skill issue. It's a difficult task. Do you know what I mean? And they're probably struggling to figure out how to do it. You know, they came out and said that, and it sounded like a genuine thing for them to say, because what developer would want to admit that? Would want to admit that they can't do it, that it's a skill issue. Do you know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents on it. I think this generation, it was a weird choice having the S and the X. I get why they did it, to get more Xboxes in people's homes and provide a budget-friendly option. But when you did that, you did kind of clip the wings of the X a bit too. You know, it's provided a lot more work to developers, and it gets harder work to make stuff work. Like, for example, Baldur's Gate couldn't have split screen on the Series S version, which isn't that big of a deal. But for some people, it would be. You know, people like me and my wife who play a lot of games co-op. You know, split screen is a lot of fun. And again, so it's the hardware thing. But I don't think people need to panic. There's no reality where it will not be coming to the Xbox. I mean, personally, I don't care about that game. It's a Souls-like game where I'm playing as a jumping, diving, flipping monkey guy. So it's not really for me. But yeah, it's going to come to the Xbox, man. Just relax. It will come. It will come. Sooner than you probably think. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. For what it's worth, guys. I know there's people thinking Sony that they're lying and that they're in the pockets of Sony and it's just an excuse. And look, the Series S is a capable machine, but you gotta have the know-how to make that development work. You know how they get things like Indiana Jones running as well as it does on the Series S is mind-blowing, man. They have some wizardry going on down there. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? I mean, look, Sony are a devious lot, so perhaps there is a deal behind closed doors. I just don't see why they would do that and not brag about it, because Sony like their exclusives. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, Myth Wukong, you excited about it? Does this news upset you? Or are you not really that bothered about it? What do you think of the Series S? Do you think it was a mistake to have a lower end, budget friendly option, or do you think they did the right thing? Anyway, let me know in the comments, guys. Brov Nation, stay strong.